What's going on, everybody? My name is Monotooi, coach of the Tampa Bay Luxrays, and today I'm bringing you guys our Week 4 team builder of the PPL Division 2. If you guys don't know what the PPL is, please check the description below. There will be a link to the PPL Twitter as well as the YouTube. You got a couple of videos going up there. Also, please check out, along with the rest of the D2 coaches, my opponent. This week we are going up against AmazingChi, a coach who beat us last season, largely due to hacks. Not that he played poorly at all, but I feel like I would have had that game had not everything gone wrong. This is also the coach where my hatred for Tangrowth began. Fond memories. But anyway, we're going to get into his team real quick. He has a Clefable, Latios, Cobalion, Entei, Blastoise, Jolteon, Gliscor, Trevenant, Muck, Hitmonchan, and Articuno. This is the team I actually like a lot. Like from a player's perspective, like if I had this team I would enjoy it a lot. I like Gliscor, I really like Articuno. The Dragon Fairy Steel Core is very solid. I don't like Trevenant, but aside from that, he's got a pretty solid team, and I'm a little bit nervous to face it, but I feel like we got this. She has so far in the season not done super well, but that does not mean he's not going to rise up to the challenge now, because he did very well last season. He went 7-4. He had a positive differential. He did relatively well last season, and he can start. What's the word I'm looking for? He can start pulling it together at any point, and that point could be this match. So I got to be careful. However, I feel like I do have a decent matchup against him. Just with my team against his team, I feel like I have responses to anything that he has. So without further ado, let's just get into the team real quick. We're going to start off how I pretty much start off almost every team builder, with our Mega Lopunny. With Return, Low Kick, Fake Out, and Ice Punch. Again, nothing crazy. Not really being super creative with the Lopunny sets, because this Lopunny just does work on his team. As you guys can see, it 2-hit or 1-shots quite literally his entire team, aside from potentially the Clefable, which even with an Adamant Nature I can 2 a KO after Stealth Rock. Now, you may be saying, why am I running an Adamant Nature when he has a Jolteon that can, if timid, can outspeed an Adamant Mega Lopunny? A couple of reasons. One, Jolteon's not a huge issue to my team. Literally, Jellicent is the only thing that is super afraid of it. Otherwise, Tyranitar eats special hits easily. Nidoqueen is going to be obviously immune to the Volt Switch and can only hit me with HP Ice. Reuniclus doesn't care. Whimsicott doesn't really care. Even Jellicent can take a hit if it has to, so I don't really care too much about Jolteon. I would understand if he didn't bring it. It's just not a huge threat to my team, and the extra power that Adamant brings me is really helpful. Like I said, with Adamant, I can potentially 2 a KO the Clefable after Stealth Rocks. I am guaranteed to kill on Cobalion with a Low Kick. I can kill Entei with a Return after Stealth Rocks, guaranteed. Does a ton of damage to his team, can easily 2 a KO. The Articuno can one-shot the Hitmonchan, can kill the Muck with a Fake Out plus Return. 2 a KO any Trevenant. It just does massive damage to his team. The Clefable is going to be a little bit of an issue for it, but I do have responses to it, particularly my Nidoqueen, which I will get into later. So, getting Lopunny out of the way, we are now going to move on to one I was a little hesitant on bringing, because he did have the Jolteon, and he has a couple of responses to this, but this is a very good Pokemon for his team for spin blocking. Bulky Waters do decent against his team. If he's an unaware Clefable, I deal with it. I'm bringing my Jellicent, Leftovers, and Water Absorb. Water Absorb primarily so I can switch into the Blastoise, of course. Dark Pulse will not be able to 2 a KO me unless he's running like modest max special attack. And even then it's a roll. So Scald, Shadow Ball, Recover, and Toxic. Shadow Ball is mainly just to hit the potential Latios, hit Blastoise a little bit harder, hit Trevenant super effectively, things like that. Scald, of course, because it's a great move, can potentially burn things on his team. He doesn't really have anything that wants to take a burn, aside from potentially Trevenant, which isn't a great Pokemon. That's even over. The Blastoise can, but it doesn't want to get burned. Clefable, if he is unaware, does not want to take it. So that's why I have that. And of course, Recover, just to keep it healthy. Physically defensive. It's a very nice pivot around his team. I can take one hit from the Latios. I pretty much wall the Cobalion entirely. It's my best switch into Entei, which is a little bit of a problem to my team, because it'll OHKO the Whimsicott, can deal massive damage to the Lopunny, can deal massive damage to the Nidoqueen. Tyranitar can take any hit from it, but obviously I don't want to get that Sacred Fire burn, so Jellicent is just my best switch into it. Can take Banded Sacred Fires relatively easily. It's just a relatively good Pokemon against his team. Can also deal with the Gliscor. Can kind of deal with the Muck as well. It just kind of annoys his team out quite a bit. He may bring the Articuno to deal with it, actually, because Articuno actually deals decent damage to my team. But I do have kind of a switch into that in Reuniclus. But again, Jellicent just is a very nice Pokemon against him. Now, moving on, we have a pretty fun set that I came up with a little bit of influence from Kyle. If you guys don't know, I occasionally team build with Kyle, and not that like he builds the team for me, I build the team, but with some of his influence occasionally. This is my offensive Reuniclus, 20 Spadef, max HP 20 Spadef, guarantees that I live 2 Life Orb Ice Beams from the Articuno, max special attack Modest, Psychic, Shadow Ball, Future Sight, and Recover. I was originally going with Trick Room, but I decided I just wanted 3 attacks to recover. So I was going to have Psychic, Shadow Ball, and Focus Blast just to hit the Cobalion, but I realized I didn't really need it. I didn't care about having Energy Ball for Blastoise. So I was just like, what should I put on Reuniclus? Do I want Trick Room 2 attacks recover, or what do I want? And then Kyle suggested Future Sight. Future Sight is a base 120 power move, special attacking psychic move, of course, hits 2 turns after being used. So I'll use it, 2 turns will go by, and then it will hit something very hard. And when you look at his team, he does not have a lot for it. His best switch-in, believe it or not, is actually his Latios, which if it's a standard offensive Latios will take 42 to 50%, so that is not a switch-in at all. And anytime he goes out into his Latios, I have a pretty good switch out into my Tyranitar. So this is a very big threat to his team, even without physical defense investment. It switches in happily to things like the Cobalion, the Blastoise, unless again he's Modest, Dark Pulse, can deal with the Gliscor, can deal with the Trevenant even unless it has Shadow Claw, can deal with the Muck, can deal with the Hitmonchan, like I said, can deal with the Articuno, can potentially 2-KO the Clefable as well, because I think he's going to bring fully physically defensive from my Mega Lopunny, so if he's not running Spadef investment, this Psychic will easily 2-KO, and he does not want to take a Future Sight at all. So that is why I have that. It's a huge threat against his team, bulky enough to take hits from the things I needed to take hits on. What this does for me is basically allow a switch into one of his things, and then I immediately get to fire back extremely powerfully. And he's not going to know that I'm Life Orb until it's too late, more than likely, because he'll switch in something like his Clefable, like even his Articuno, because Articuno has very good special defense, and he will take a ton of damage. You do have to be careful about Miracle Blastoise, of course, but it is what it is. Next up, we are bringing another very important Mon versus his team. This is my best answer to his Clefable. We have Nidoqueen. Now, I doubt he's going to be running like an offensive Clefable with Psychic. Again, I think he needs physically defensive for my Mega Lopunny. So, again, that's just my prediction, but this is a 3-attack Stealth Rocking Nidoqueen. With the Shuca Berry, I can take any hit from the Gliscor. Like if he switches into his Gliscor thinking he can kill me, goes for the Earthquake, I tank it and can clean knock him out with an Ice Beam. Stealth Rocks are relatively useful against his team, primarily for things like the Entei as well as potentially the Articuno. Other than that, they're not huge against his team. He has a lot of forms of hazard removal, but if he does bring Blastoise, I can block it with my Jellicent. If he brings Latios, I immediately Pursuit Trap it with my Tyranitar, so I have ways to punish his hazard removal. And I don't think he's going to be bringing a Defog, Hypercut, or Gliscor. Hitmonchan also just walled by my Jellicent, unless he's like Life Orb with Thunder Punch. Also, 3 moves were relatively easy. Sludge Wave, Earth Power, and Ice Beam hit pretty much his entire team, and by pretty much his entire team, I mean like literally his entire team, aside from the Blastoise, which I wouldn't want to stay in anyway. I was thinking about Thunderbolt, but there's just really good coverage for his team, and like I said, I have this and this and this to switch into Blastoise, so I don't really care too much about it. And then after that, after our Nidoqueen, we needed an answer for the Latios. I can kind of deal with it now because everything can kind of take a hit aside from Lopunny, which of course outspeeds it and can deal massive damage to it. But we are bringing our Tyranitar. Now, Tyranitar is pretty good against his team. I'm bringing an interesting set. mainly for pursuit trapping the Latios, like I've said before, can deal with the Entei, can of course deal with Jolteon, can kind of deal with Gliscor. Its biggest job is just get rid of the Latios. Latios, while I do kind of deal with it, I don't really have anything that wants to take a Draco Meteor aside from Whimsicott, and if he's like a Life Orb set, I don't want to be switching in on a Psyshock or potentially even an Ice Beam. So I have to be very careful about it. Tyranitar can take absolutely any hit from it, regardless of what it is. If it's physical with Earthquake, it's fine. If it has HP Fighting, I'll be able to take one and switch accordingly. It's just a monster. Well, it's literally a monster, but it just deals with his Latios very well. It also, with the Choice Scarf, I'll be able to outspeed things like the Cobalion, things like the Entei, hit them with Stone Edge or Earthquake, or just Earthquake in general. Can switch into the Jolteon easily. I doubt he's going to have HP Fighting. If he has HP Fighting, he absolutely cannot touch my Nidoqueen. Can live a hit from Gliscor and two-shot it with the Ice Punch. Can live a hit from Trevenant, hit it with an Ice Punch, potentially Pursuit Trap it. Or a lot of different... It deals with his team relatively nicely as like a neutral mon. Can also hit Stone Edges with... or onto Clefable, deal nice damage that way, weaken it so I can get a free switch out in like Reuniclus or Nidoqueen. So yeah, that's why I brought T-Tar. It's probably going to do work, because T-Tar is amazing. But yeah. So, moving on to the final Pokemon. By the way, before I forget, I'm going to do the, what am I going to do? Oh yeah, I'm going to do the league standings after this Whimsicott. But we got Whimsicott. Choice specs, just like last week, it does a ton of work to his team. If he brings physically defensive Clefable to hit KOs it, can Oko the Latios, deals massive damage to the Cobalion, Blastoise it deals massive damage to as well, although again, Mirror Coat AV is something I have to be careful of. 2 KOs pretty much his entire team with Moonblast, aside from potentially the Muck, which of course I do have Psychic for. If he brings like a, well, suppose he brings Entei. I was thinking, and this was also the second edition that Kyle suggested to me. He only made 2 things, the Future Sight here, and the this Hidden Power Water. That's a very nice neutral move to have on this thing. Like, suppose he's in with, say, like Jolteon, and he decides to Volt Switch out into his Entei. Hidden Power Water with the specs will easily 2 a KO. And then if he is Dissolve Vest, it has a chance to 2 a KO, I believe, and it's a guaranteed 2 a KO after Stealth Rocks. So I have the chance to 2 a KO pretty much his entire team, aside from like an Assault Vest Muck, which I really don't think he's going to be bringing, because that's just a free switch into my Nidoqueen every single time. So yeah, that's Whimsicott. Switcheroo also. I originally had U-Turn just to gain myself momentum, but I realized this is a big enough offensive threat to his team. I don't need to U-Turn on anything. Like, I have Hidden Power Water if I'm thinking the Entei comes in. I have Psychic if I think the Muck's coming in, and I have Moonblast for everything else. I kind of want Giga Drain for the Blastoise, but I don't need it. Like I said, everything deals with Blastoise, so I'm fine. Switcheroo is mainly there just because if my Nidoqueen comes... if my Nidoqueen goes down, I don't have too much for like a Calm Mind or a Cosmic Power Clefable, which could be a little bit of an issue. Again, Nidoqueen is pretty much a hard check to us, since I'm pretty sure he's going to be running Moonblast, Flamethrower, like Calm Mind and Soft Boiled, or Moonlight if he's unaware, which I think he's going to bring Unaware Clefable, because the last time he went up against a team with a Mono Psychic type that learned Calm Mind, it didn't go well for him, but yeah, so that's why I think he's doing Unaware Clefable. So if he brings like a setup Clefable in any way, I just have the Switcheroo. Granted, I don't super want to Switcheroo its specs after it's got up like a Calm Mind, but at least then it's manageable. Like, I can live a hit with Reuniclus, get off a solid chunk of damage off on it. T-Tar can outspeed, deal some massive damage with Stone Edge. Lopunny will deal like 45% with an Adamant Return if he's fully Fizz Death. So I can deal with it that way, and I don't expect to give him the opportunity to, because I'm planning on keeping my Nidoqueen healthy. The only thing I'd want this thing to take a hit from necessarily would be the, what's it called? The thing. You know, the thing. The, Gliscor, that's right. Because I'll take about, like, 40% from an Earthquake and be able to knock it out with an Ice Beam, so I'll still be in a good range to switch into the Clefable. Plus, if he is like a Calm Mind Clefable, I do have Toxic on Jellicent to wear it down, and I don't think he's going to be running mono attacking Moonblast, because then he can't touch my Ferrothorn. So yeah, that is Whimsicott. Again, choice specs like last week, but should put in just as much work as it did last week. And with that being said, let's move on just to the league table that I probably should have done earlier on, but just to start off, basically the Golden Pokeball Award, we have Mega Lopunny in first place, 7 kills, has not died yet. Mega Lopunny is a beast, I freaking love it. After that, we got Charizard X with Chaos, and then we got Mew from Ellie, and I'm not going to go over the rest of this. I am so annoyed. Last week, Flareon got 3 kills. If we were still going by just differential, it would be, like, right here. It'd be number 8. But because we're going by kills, Flareon is literally number 11. And that's just... It's upsetting. I'm pretty disappointed, because it deserves to be up here. Look at what Flareon would be mixed in with. It'd be mixed in with Mega Lopunny, Mew, Manaphy, Mega Pinsir, Thunderous Eye, and then you just see a fucking Flareon right here. So that's really disappointing, but it is what it is. It still did great for us. And then after that, we have the top teams of Division 2. We have Ellie in first place, up ahead of me by 1 differential point. She has plus 12, I have plus 11. Same record. She beat Jack last week, so of course she's going to take number 1. Jack's going to fall a little bit. And then of course Paul is actually number 3rd now, which, good for Paul. He's doing well this season so far. Aside from us, nobody has been able to beat him, so that's pretty cool. And then you got everyone else that I'm not going to go into, but you know who you are if you're watching. And with that being said, I'm going to wrap this video up. Thank you guys very much for watching. I'm kind of nervous to take on his team just because the last time I faced Chi, things didn't go well, but I feel like we got the matchup. I'm confident about this one. I'm very confident. And I hope I get to use Future Sight because that's really cool. But anyway, thank you guys very much for watching. My name is Monotooi, and I'll see you guys next time.